they're about 100, 200 points ahead of everyone else. So it could be them just laying off the gas a little bit. But here at the PMWL, that is not the time to do it.
Day number 1, match 1. It all starts now. It's time for the Battle Royale with Cheese. Let's get into it.
I mean, we don't have Queso in here, but we've got some of the best teams from the East, so let's get it on. I mean, we've got this this plane path coming off the top side, so it's very, very comfortable now. We were talking about what Avenger said on the desk over there, that all the teams, they're looking for their spot to control. This particular plane path pretty much allows everyone to go wherever they want right now. So you want a drop spot, you take it. Here is your chance to lay claim, and we'll see what does happen. You see Megastars already making their way up towards Kameshki, which is a bit of an unorthodox spot to go for, but very safe to begin with. But we'll see where a lot of these teams end up.
Absolutely, and with 15 teams in the lobby, obviously, we're going to be a little bit less crowded than potentially we would be with the full 16, so that might play to the advantage of some of these teams. Is there a particular area where that might play into it more? I mean, maybe around the center, or do you think it's going to focus more towards the edge areas of those circles?
I mean, let's go back to PMPL North Americas, for instance. I mean, Tempo Storm there, they were playing Pachinki right now. Pachinki really affords you a lot of rotational paths, but it really depends how the teams play and how the lobby shapes up, because if we...
what a way to kick it off.
Oh dear. Anyway, if we get a case where the lobby likes to play edge, then Pachinki's great. If everyone likes to play very much crunched up, it's not so great. But already, I got Missile here from T1, throwing in the nades towards Velmoth.
Oh, nicely found there. Goddard trying to have that oversight, but can't really stop the encroaching players from T1. They are going to capitalize and get the flush on out. Velmoth does fall, and T1, you know, we were looking at this team, a newly picked up roster for the large org that really sort of dominates a lot of South Korean esports. They're started off well. I mean, we've got a military circle. We've got them starting off strong over in Rosok. What more could go well?
Do you know what I love the most about it is that we literally get into PMWL. The first nade that's thrown is perfect. That's how you know the kind of caliber of teams we've got ahead of us. But yeah, this circle is rough, man. There's about, I'd say 40% of the circle is water at the moment, so teams going to have to make some quick decisions. Most teams probably will decide to stay towards the northern island, try and take a position there before committing fully to Sosnovka military base. But if you want to take a risk early on, you can maybe try and take towards Tower, you know, the satellite, and hold that area down. But there's a lot of risks involved here. Most teams, they're going to chill out. They know they've got a lot of time to move, but they do know that right now, John, landmass is limited.
It's not the easiest thing to find that real estate, but we do have 1 or 2 clashes coming through. I mean, over in Rosok, we've got this one that's currently going on our screens. Hang on a minute, we've got another one going off. That's in North George. Nova are taking a little bit of a fight.
Yeah, that's Nova Godlike there. Morph actually taking some shots onto them. But Valdez now, what they have currently is this nice little freeway split. Sure, they're down a member, but right now T1, they're kind of like the flies in the spider's trap. Valdez currently have the web set up for them, so when they do leave here, they should take a little bit of damage. And look, they're not very looted up. Only level 1 vest, level 1 helmet. If Valdez, Goddard, Martin, or Joan over here can find a decent shot onto them, they might get a free little knock and then move things out from there. Luckily for T1, they have a little bit of an overwatch coming in from the other side of the road from Rozok, but you'll imagine people are going to be flooding down from Severny, Orange Rock, Udo to try and make this happen. Here is the dash from T1 though.
They're pushing in, they want to displace Johnny, take control of the building, but 2 of them go down. Excellent side swipes, excellent crossfire set up against the push from T1. They're going for the fight. They will be able to get 1 down, but 2 players left standing. Go for the flush. That's the second player of Valdez the Murder to fall, so it is now a 2 versus 2 with 2 of T1 down.
That's very, very smart. Satan knew that I just need to push this right now. If I take the kill, they'll only have 2 players, and they cannot be too close by. We know what kind of setup they wanted to go for there. But well played by Valdez. They knew exactly what kind of situation they had to set up to even try and guarantee some semblance of survival for them. I don't think they did get the flush there, so it's slightly unfortunate. But T1 are in a bit of a rough spot at the moment.
They're going to have a lot of damage done to the armor, to the meds, to the equipment, like you were saying, Blank. But they managed to get all of their players up. Goddard is down, and Martin's the last standing member for Valdez the Murder. CCP playing close range warrior. He's got the pump action and the micro Uzi. He's if you get into range, then you're going to know about it.
I mean, he's dodging and ducking around these fences, so you don't want to come into close contact with him. I like how T1, they're all wearing pretty much the horse outfits. You got one of the players with the horse head on. This guy's got the horse tail coming through right now, and they're making a good dash for it as well. So this is a very nice start for T1. And we talk about T1 as an esports team. They're pretty well known for being this team that is able to select the best players. Now, the desk was saying that they made a couple of roster changes coming into this one. I trust in T1 to make the right decision, and so far it seems to be paying off.
But on the other side of this fight, you got Valdez the Murder, previously obviously known as Illuminate the Murder. These guys have a legacy, right, behind them in PUBG Mobile. So starting off the first game down to one player, not ideal.
No, but they did lose that big star player in Mattoy to Team Secret. He left shortly after they had that devastating loss from dropping from 2nd to 5th place in the global finals, which really did affect them in terms of cash prize as well as prestige. Didn't even get to stand on that podium at the end. Now, this is the team that everyone wants to talk about, right? It's BTR. They're taking shots towards Mega. Vexy just moving his way through, just weaving across the bridge right now. And there's a couple of teams that have moved their way down into Sosnovka military base. Team IND, this is a team very comfortable with Sosnovka. They usually play around Ferry Pier, try and hold down that crossing, but they're immediately moving into C block nice and early.
They've got control of the base, but we'll see where the circle goes, because they have to leave. It might not be ideal for them. Oh, okay, hang on a minute. We've got a little bit of a sneaky play coming in from GXR Celts. One player hiding around the wall. Megastars don't seem to know about this, and to be fair, why would they?
I mean, the difficulty here is that Megastars, they've currently got him on lockdown. This guy may as well be in handcuffs right now. There's not real much chance of him escaping. Maybe he gets one knock and then immediately calls for reinforcements, but you're expecting Megastars to respond very quickly, but Encore definitely saw that. Does he know it's a solo? Does he want to push it?
They've got the backup now over the top of the hill. They've spotted it out, but down come the reinforcements. They push in, and Megastars do find rocks. Will get the flush, pick up the loot. A little bit of damage done, so if GXR Celts can capitalize now, they might be able to get something in response. A lot of the Megastars players actually cornered here.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happened. They all descended on this one building, and now they're kind of crunched. GXR can potentially take advantage of that, but you wonder how much they can get done. Megastars, though, starting off well. I think this is a team filled with very heavy fraggers. In fact, Paradox, I remember last year, was just absolutely criminal on that fragging leaderboard. But every team now making their way down. Nova Godlike got Smokey OP, a man with a massive history, quite legendary in fact, also making his way down through hospital with the rest of his team. Unfortunately, it looks like they don't have many vehicles to their advantage. And here we see Celts just leaving that fight. They don't want to take it any longer. They know that right now what they'll have to do is crash a compound. Not ideal situation for them, especially when they're down a member.
Absolutely. We talked about how, they talked on the desk about how GXR Celts were really this heavy fragging team, but now they're down to 3. Will they have that same sort of bulldozer strength?
Yeah, and especially on Erangel, you want to be able to lay claim and make a name for yourself here on the first Erangel. Like, this is our spot. It's been made a little bit more difficult by basically the erraticness of the circle, but there's a big chance here. Let's quickly talk about the circle, because we're about to see the next one. There's a big chance here that it could go north again, and that would be a perfect start to the PMWL, but it does center here down onto military base, and this is pretty much a confirmed military base right now because it hard shifts so massively to the south, so anyone on the north side, they want to make their way across now. Luckily, Sosnovka has a lot of areas to hold you. There's a lot of high ground, a lot of low ground that you can kind of sneak by in. Some teams will have a better pick of the lot, especially teams that already made their way in. I'm looking at Team IND, for instance. RCS also in a decent position.
Yeah, Reject Scarlet making their way on the boat rotation. The boatation.
Boatation.
As we coined over in the PMPL. Yes. Oh, I do miss that. Hopefully on Sanok we're going to see some pirate action, but we'll have to get there first. And
Mega 360, yeah.
Exactly. We'll see just what they're able to bring to it. Bigetron making the cross now over the eastern bridge towards That military island Ryzen in the sights of TSM Entity. Oh, they're going to be able to plink away actually on the other side of the bridge. Ryzen takes some damage, but Paradox, he's come into conflict to TMIND on the southeast corner of military base.
Yeah, and I mean, this Snacks actually taking down Paradox is kind of sad because, you know, Snacks used to be on Megastars in the first place before he left to go to Team IND, and now Snacks is one of the heavy hitters from that team. He was very scary. It took him a little while to rev up the engines, but then as soon as he got going, wow, he was one hell of a force to deal with. It looks like the engines are pre-revved here for PMWL.
Oh, they're into the red right now. They're straight on towards on-course position. Knocked out, no problem. The rest of IND rally around, and that's an easy flush out away. So you can see him in the background there. He does not want any of that.
It just leaves. But this is one of the more important things of the PMWL and playing in PUBG Mobile is the decision making. If you need to make those decisions quick and on the fly. You see a teammate of yours go down and you can think, maybe I can help him. You don't want to do that. You're looking for placement points here. You want to get the best seating you can get here on the first 2 opening days, but this also gives you a lot of practice. It feels like to me, though, it will be Nova Godlike actually making the botation itself all the way from the western side of Quarry. This is a long one, though, and they're coming into... It's only Circle 2, so it doesn't hit too hard, but they will have to use a fair bit of meds to make this one happen. And with RCS already on the side of Sosnovka, you're going to be coming into pretty heavy fire.
And let's not forget as well that the plane path was very northern here, Blank, which means that all of these teams have had to travel quite a long way. That's going to reduce the amount of meds available at the end of these fights, right? Because you're normally hoping that, you know, you fight through, you gain some more meds. But if there's less picked up, there's less in the lobby, and that might not play too well for Nova Godlike.
Maybe not. There are a couple of players down there. Look at that. The play zone already takes down Vampire. Very, very unfortunate. That's Gil going down 2. That's on that side of the map. So they're having a pretty good time. Team Secret. Neo just jumps down. He's taking a fair bit of shots, and it's Bigetron actually holding down the cross here. And why wouldn't they? They're such an aggressive team. Luxy with a long range.
He's going to be able to spray down under the bridge. Nade's being cooked, but the rest of them having their goose found just the same. And another spray down. Easy pickups coming through.
Luxy.
TSM Entity getting dismantled here. This is why Bigetron, they're the current reigning world champions. They roll straight on up, go for the fight with Clutch Gods. And he shuts it down. Zuxi brings it in.
I love that. I love that so much. That Luxy's like, I'm going to get the triple. And then Zuxi's like, look, man, I can't let my brother do all the work. I got to jump in here and help out my twin. And now it's Jumper coming in from Udo. Bigetron looking for a little bit of revenge here.
Blood for the blood gods themselves. Bigetron Red Aliens standing strong. Looks like they're going to have more offerings sent their way. Udo trying to cross as well. This is the team as well, remember, that beat them significantly in their region, in the SEA PMPL, so they're going to be pretty chuffed to be able to bridge guard them on this one.
There's so many teams trying to make their way across as well. You've got Valdis up here, you've got Udo as well. Bigetron is kind of like a meat grinder at the end of the bridge. It is so difficult to get past them, but Morph, they're coming up behind BTR, and this is the issue for them, and there's good positions for Morph behind them just to gatekeep themselves. So BTR, they've got to make a quick decision now. Do we leave the bridge or do we continue this fight? Orange Rock on our screens. Marvy try and take some shots onto Team Secret. iShot so low, he just has to hold this position.
He needs to get the healing on. They are in the blue zone currently, and these crosses are becoming really, really treacherous. The early positions paying off very, very well, but Megastars into another fight. They're trying to rack up a couple more kills. They're down to 2 players, remember, from their earlier engagements. And it looks like they might be down to 1 less now as Heineken starting to push in. Vexy as well up top, trying to just pop the first aid, get any sort of advantage he can, but the nade's being cooked, going to be thrown up the stairs, will force him down around the corner, but it's not going to be far enough. Easy flush coming out.
Vexy is dead. Awace desperately trying to provide support. In the meantime, BTR has given up the position, and that will be Awace actually going down too. No chance seems to have absolutely the chance here as they take the opportunity and run with it. Udo Gang also make their way through with 3 players. Just T1 though, however, who had to bide their time on the northern side of the eastern bridge. They'll be finally making their way through at BTR, looking for an aggressive position as the circle heads towards the southwest side.
3 teams now eliminated in the lobby. That's the Megastars, Valdus, the Murder, and TSM Entity. 3 casualties to the hard shifters. Nova Godlike bring them up close as well. That's the 4th to fall.
Down to 11 teams. A little bit of flying vehicle action there. You love to see it. Morph now on the eastern side. BTR currently right behind them. But Morph are looking to gatekeep, and BTR, they're in a struggling spot right now. They're rushing away from the blue zone. They know they don't want to show their face directly into Morph, and this is a beautiful rotation on the side of the cliffs. Reduce the amount of sight lines that's coming through. Just perfect read from BTR, and now they can rock up on the side of this cliff and actually have a decent position to push through. Morph knows they have to move out right now. Moving down the hill. Frenzy, what are you doing?
He's going to get shot straight out. You can't be in that sort of a situation. 4 players from Bigetron looking straight at you. Luxy, though, does get downed himself. They're going to go for the heal up and maybe go for the fight. They don't have too long. 45 seconds before the next blue zone closes blank, and you've got T1 over the north side as well, potentially to play spoiler.
It's a beautiful read from BTR, and they move down. You imagine in that moment, it's Morph to actually kind of panic a little bit. Out come the smokes. It provides a little bit more cover for BTR. T1, like I said, now joining the fight also, but they've sent Satan off to the northern side. He wants to try and insert himself into the circle itself. And Celts, they're moving down from the south as well, trying to move all the way up. And it's BU just on the Fury Road against RCS.
Bigetron still trying to take that fight. Team Secret crashed
Oh my
quarter
lord.
compound. 180 slide. And he's out in the open. Gets out of the buggy at just the wrong time. But for some reason, he's able to dodge around it. Hits the deck, gets back up, does the do-si-do, and gets himself to safety.
Yeah, I'm going to start asking production to bring us some cards with 10s on them, because that was a 10 out of 10 performance right there. And if I was judging, yeah, that'd be absolutely a 10 from me. No chance though. They're in a little bit of open ground. Surprisingly, we did see Team Secret able to pull that one off. I love the 180 spin out. That's beautiful. Morph, though, they're still feeling the brunt of even trying to step to BTR. They will not leave them alone.
No mercy, just so pinned in that watchtower. He's got really nowhere to go. See if he's able to escape that pressure. RCS, Reject Scarlet, have their building on the northwestern side of the circle, but a couple of shots can come through. Snipers popping off for Team Secret. You've got GRX Celts as well on that western side, so potential for a little bit of a clash there.
This is ridiculous as well, by the way. BTR have come into this game and they are not pulling any punches. Nice grenade comes through. Counter one over the top. Zuxi has to move back. He's desperately trying to help his teammate Ryzen. Now there's a knock on either side, but currently Zuxi and BTR have the better shot of it. Right now, Morph are very exposed to a lot of other teams, whereas, you know, BTR, they can hold strong. Nice nade comes to the top, but it's not enough.
T1 coming in and playing savior there. Bigetron, they see that not come up in the kill feed. They know that they're going to be safe to res. 2 players down for Morph, as they are really suffering at this stage, eliminated as well. And the rest of Bigetron can come to bring up the rear. You can see them all recoalescing.
Yeah, vehicle's a little bit low. Zuxi just drops that one down. Will provide a little bit more cover. T1, like you say, actually adding to that fight. 10 teams, 32 alive, so around about 3 per team on average. There's not a lot of players here. RQ, though, they're playing this very safe with a 2-2 split. Here is Team Secret trying to take down Celts, who are currently pinned inside a house at the moment.
Yuhai able to get a lot of damage done. Cooks a nade as well, tries to send it in. We'll see if he's able to do it. Sliver of HP keeps GXR Celts up to 3 players for now. But they will not let up just yet.
Now most teams, they've found their spot within. And they're just waiting this one out at the moment. Just trying to find as many little locations as possible. Next circle comes through on top of Team I&D. Remember, these guys got into the circle very early, so they've had the pick of the litter in terms of compounds that they want to hold. Currently, they're in the destroy plane zone, so they've got a lot of cheeky positions they can hold in. Here's Team Secret, though, moving through on the buggy, trying to see where they can land. I think they have an inkling that Team I&D will be holding over on this side. iShot's just looking to scout out. Surely they might have heard that vehicle now moving.
There's so many vehicles razzing around, though. Maybe it could get lost in the noise. We'll have to see if they've got their wits about them. Control tower occupied by the 2 remaining players from T1. Obviously, escaping early from that fight over in Rostock. They've got 7 kills currently, Blank. They're doing incredibly well.
I mean, T1 was, it's not a team that I expected so much from already. For the majority of the other tournaments, the Korean teams that have been put forward don't have the most amazing performance, but T1, like we're saying, they select some hella good players, and Korea is really making a statement in the first game here.
Absolutely. We'll see if they're able to keep it up. Of course, it's a marathon, not a sprint here. But the sprint comes through. The crash on towards Team IND. 2 players down. They've got 2 still standing. Kratos trying to rattle them down. Will be able to put some pressure back over towards RRQ. They have 1 knock. Ernie will be able to heal it up as well, but they are slowed down for now.
You got Senior, Ernie, as well as D2E. Pretty classic amalgamation of a team there. They've been together for a very long time, but despite taking shots from almost everywhere, D2E comes out with a shot onto U-High. Nice headshot coming through, and this might give them the opening to push in. They have to get out of the line of sight of BTR because they will continue to shoot down bullets their way, and one will find them. Eventually, Senior does fall to that.
GXR Celts are able to get the off angle as well onto that fight. RRQ desperately trying to put the pieces back together. We'll see if they're able to get into this airstrip for now. On the northwestern side, you've got Reject Scarlet as well, trying to make that push across those compounds. RRQ really suffering at this stage.
BTR, though, as well as T1, they control pretty much the entirety of the eastern split of this circle. If we slap a line down the middle of this, you've got 2 teams on the right-hand side. The other 7, they're off left on the west. So it's a massive brawl here. Right now, BTR, they can just hold out, as can T1. But this will be defined by the next circle, John. Depending on where it goes, T1 and BTR could have a rough job ahead of them.
No chance team eliminated on the northwestern side. Reject Scarlet now can push in a little bit closer. Ooh. IND had control of the airfield for such a long time, but it seems to be slipping away. Nades getting thrown on over.
He has to get him.
GXR Celts eliminated. That's going to be the kill as well as the bleed out comes through. RRQ, you lose yet another.
Now just down to Ernie left. This guy is a heavy flexer in terms of the frag potential. Next circle comes through, heads towards just the southeast side of the circle. T1, they know they have to get into the circle very, very quickly. They should be able to find a decent position. And you do, despite all the tragedy that they faced against on that bridge, they've managed to make their way across and actually remain in this circle. T1, though, with the duo, are making it happen.
They have 8 kills now, Blank. These guys are popping off. Okay, ready to see what else they've got for us. Team Secret as well, holding their own on the western side, but they have quite a long push as the circle out to the east, and all of these teams are going to be heavy duking it out. They will not come out of this one unscathed, but it's Bigetron with 3 players on the wall. They have a lot of control over this ground, Blank.
Yeah, they haven't had to move either. I mean, they don't have to worry about anything to the north. As long as they can take off everyone to the west side, they're absolutely fine to just hold this one out for the time being. They know that there's really not a lot of good cover on the ground ahead of them, so they could just let other teams pick each other apart. They've already got a decent amount of kills. They're looking for that chicken dinner.
You do. They want to push straight on in. They're challenging Team IND's position right now. They're going for the fight. 7 teams remain, and they're looking to bring it down to 6. 1 player, and it's now just Kratos for IND to hold under the wing, but you do are right around the corner. Oh, Fredo just has to hide himself over underneath in the engine there to heal on up after taking a little bit of damage from the sidelines.
Yeah, there's a potential that Team IND can go for risky resurrection here. I mean, they're surrounding all sides, but currently it's the other team who is pinned down. You taking so much fire. This smoke's paid off massively for Team IND, and now they can heal. They are about a breath's width away from you, and now Drax is trying to crawl his way around the snake in the grass.
Smokes are up. If they can hold this down for just a minute longer, they might be able to get something as they strike out, but you do eliminate Reject Scarlet, bringing us down to 6 teams remaining in the first game, Blank.
You do all the bullets. They fly everywhere, and finally Fredo goes down. They have the UAS, but if that explodes, Drax goes down too, and no one's really focusing at the moment. BTR, they found out Ernie. RRQ goes down in 5th.
Team Secret eliminated now. 4 teams remain. On the south side, you've got Bigetron, really the dominant force here, but when it comes to kills, they have some competition. There's 9 kills on the scoreboard, 4 for T1, sorry, the South Korean representatives. They've had a real good shout, but it looks like their road might just be coming to an end here.
I mean, there is absolutely no road ahead of him in the first place. That's IND. Kratos moves around the side. Goes to fight with the gods themselves. Fredo looking for another one. That's 420 down. Kratos still alive, but it's Fredo with 0 HP whatsoever, and he's taken down. Kratos will survive this one.
It's it from the buggy explosion, able to get that frag, but they do get eliminated in the meantime from the off angles. Still in it, T1. They're looking to try and push across, maybe get some ground. Bigetron though, 3 players alive, all nice and healthy. They're finally going to have to move now, Blank.
And did we expect anything other than this? Here's T1, 9 kills, a lot of damage on the board. Satan, you pretty much know that he's got no HP, no meds on board either. And now it's just time for BTR to pick up the pieces.
Smoke's being dropped out, getting their positions. Satan low HP, no armor to speak of left, no meds as well. They've suffered, but they've gotten this far, and they're going to have at least a guaranteed 19 points on the game, Blank.
Satan, he's looking at that second place, but Kratos currently going undetected. Satan just wants to hold here as long as possible, but does mean that BTR will have to move all the way across. You can see that he's blown out all the tires. It's going to be very difficult to shoot him from underneath, but he's outside of the zone itself. BTR controlling all of it. Suxy making the mad spray. Actually, Satan's firing backwards. That is a massively ballsy move.
Okay, he does pay the price for it. Unfortunately, Bigetron do eliminate them. Still, a very strong game from T1. They had to rotate all the way from Rozhok, remember, and they were in a fight right from the start. So, fantastic stuff coming out from them. But Team IND, they've managed to make it to second place as well. A really good start. And to be honest, though, did we expect anything else? Bigetron Red Aliens, they're doing really strong. Strong play right now.
Massively. I mean, I'm surprised Kratos was actually able to get out. That was cheeky. And now Zuxi, Luxley, and Microboy all looking to just shoot shots over towards Kratos' side. If I'm Kratos, though, I think that maybe I'm just better off going out here in second and not giving the kill points across. Though it is just for seeding, so it doesn't matter too much here. The IND Kratos can go for this win. It would just look cool if he could do it.
They're sending the nades out. One shot goes through. Kratos finds one, but they spot him out. It's Bigetron Red Aliens, the current reigning champions, to bring it home in the first match of the World League East. Fantastic stuff. Brilliant to see them back on form.
That's insanity, to be fair. I mean, like you said, what do we expect otherwise? Bigetron Red Aliens have been significantly like one of the best teams in the history of PUBG Mobile just to come out. But yeah, a wonderful play, and I'm sure the desk will have more to say about it.
Absolutely. We're going to send it back on over. Kalaris, over to you.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, Bigetron Red Aliens, great stuff from them, and even seeing the first circle play out, their position kind of northwest even, I should say, Froz, of Milta, and then taking the bridge, everything kind of fell into place. It looked like their plan was very well executed.
It looked like it was well executed, but sometimes some stuff that just doesn't go the way you want it to go, and that happened this time. But at the same time, there is more games. You can still do this one more time, for example.
And also, this is why the southern farm split is such a strong start. The farm has easy access to basically everywhere. You don't have any kind of enemies somewhere close, and they were taking control somewhat early. They decided to stay on the south side of the bridge and make sure they got a lot of kills as well.
Yes, indeed, and 4 of those came from that bridge camp, maybe even more, but in total 10 kills with 30 points on the board here for Bigetron Red Aliens.